Hello, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Johnson here today to talk to you about value. Now, we have already done a little bit with value when we talked about shape and form. So you guys have practiced making these value scales or ladders that move from dark to light. If you remember when we did that in school, you did it with color pencil and a regular pencil. So we're going to do a little bit more with value today. So if you look at this picture of an apple, you can see that it has also been changed into a black and white photo. And artists sometimes do that so they can see the values better with their eyes. So when it is in color, I can see there's a highlight right here, but in the black and white, I can see it even better because it creates that contrast, that strong difference between the light and the dark background. So an artist might make their image black and white first so they can see some of those changes in the lights and darks. And that's all that value means, is the light and dark in a work of art. And then again, down in that bottom corner, you can see where we talked about shapes were just flat like a circle, but a form is where we needed to show some of this value, and then it becomes a sphere. So looking at that in art. So here's a handy little picture that shows when you add white to any color, it becomes a tint. When you add black and white or just gray to a color, we call that a tone. And then if you add black to a color, we call that a shade. And tints and shades are something that we learn in elementary school, so these should be things you guys also know already. Here are a couple of value scales showing the dark shades of black and white and a few different colors, and then going over to the light tints on the right with those colors too. So just some regular value scales or ladders showing those slight changes. This, I hope, isn't too confusing. I think it's kind of cool because it takes the color wheel, but then divides it up into those different values. So on the outside ring, we see the pure regular colors. Right on the inside, we can see that they have been added with white, so a ring of tints of those colors. As we get closer to the middle, you can see the gray tones with the color, and in the very middle, all those colors are the darkest shades. They've had black added. So kind of a cool, different layered color wheel that actually shows us those values too. Here is an extremely famous painting by Pablo Picasso, and this is called Guernica. This is a great example of value because he only uses blacks and whites and grays, and then those different scales in there of those colors. This is a tough picture to see because it shows a bombing of a Spanish city during the Spanish Civil War, and Picasso painted this huge painting that would take up a whole wall to show that horrible event. So you can see broken swords and people screaming and crying, and it's not a nice picture to look at, but it is meant to show the horrible death toll of war. But it also shows us nice value. Here's a famous painting called Girl with a Pearl Earring, and this was painted in the 1600s by Vermeer. Look at the strong contrast of the dark black background and then her very light colored cheek and her eyes, and then if you look at her earring, you can see the highlight, that light spot on there where it is the lightest value. So looking at the darks of the picture and then the lights of the picture, and that's showing those different values. Here's another very famous painting, and this is by the artist Caravaggio, and you can see there are very strong lights and darks or values here with the shadows. There are some candles that we can't really see the light source on these ones, they're hidden, but we definitely see the light on people's faces and then the dark shadows too. So very strong contrast and showing value in this painting by Caravaggio. And another famous image, this one you've maybe seen before. The artist here painted this picture of his mother, and I threw a picture of his real mom's photo in there next to it for you. But the painting is of her on the side. But again, look at the values. This wall is a light gray. We've got black for her dress. We've got a lighter black, dark gray here for the shade, and then a strong, bright white rectangle here, and then the whites of her outfit there too on her head and her sleeves. So it is a picture that shows lots of different values and contrast. One more I threw in here is called Nighthawks. You've maybe seen this one before too. It's of a diner at night. So again, look at the lights and darks, the strong lights coming from inside the diner, lighting up the people, the light yellow wall. And then outside, it's nighttime and we can see the strong dark shadows, especially across the street here in these windows, and then underneath here. So strong lights and darks or value in this painting too. For your project, you are going to make a creative value scale. I want you to show me at least 5 different values in order. So going from darks to lights. Do not just draw a simple ladder value scale. Do not just draw the boxes, okay? It has to be part of a bigger picture or created or part of an object that then goes from the lights to the darks. We already did a worksheet that showed me those simple ladders, so please do not make that for this project. I want to see you take it and make it something else. So you can see some examples here of a value scale in a feather, some bubbles and the fish showing different values in order, the layers of a cake or scoops of an ice cream cone. Some of you may have done that project with paint with me in elementary school. The palm tree picture showing the value scale in the sky going darker as it goes out. And a few more examples here too. Again, seeing where the people in the picture chose to take their values, their lights and darks, and make them darker or lighter. So I cannot wait to see what you guys create for your creative value scales. Bye.